Now the Vice President of Internal Affairs, the person elected to this position, will be responsible for running SGA elections. Let's meet the candidates for Vice President of Internal Affairs, beginning with Wesley Bagwell, a political science major from Homewood. Wesley, you have 1 minute to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Brady. Yes, my name is Wesley Bagwell. I am a political science major from Birmingham, Alabama, and I feel like I am qualified because I've been in freshman forum in my freshman year. I've been a part of the Office of Civic Engagement, and this past year I've been a member of the Senate as representing Rushing Hall, and I really love this campus, and I would be very honored to be your Vice President of Internal Affairs. Thank you, Brady.
Thank you, Wesley. Adlin Hanlon is a freshman political science major from Tallahassee, Florida. Adlin, you have 1 minute to introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, my name's Adlin Hanlon and I'm from Tallahassee, Florida. I'm a political science major and a legal studies minor. I've served on SGA for the past 2 semesters, my first semester as the senator from Hamel Hall, and then the second semester, this semester, I was reelected as the senator representing Cowart Hall. I'm a member of Alpha Gamma Delta, and I'm also a participant in the Living Stones Retreat, and I'm just very excited to have this opportunity to be one of your candidates.
Thank you, Adlin. Brantley Lawrence is a sophomore political science American politics major from Hoover. Brantley, you have 1 minute to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Brady. Like he said, I am Brantley Lawrence. I am running for VPIA for Troy University's SGA. I am from Birmingham, Alabama, and I am a member of Alpha Gamma Delta here at Troy University, where I serve as the Director of Leadership there. I am also a member of Freshman Forum, where I'm on the Student Welfare Committee, and now I'm on the Public Relations Committee, as I saw a need there and transferred to that committee. I am so excited to have this opportunity to run for this position, and I look forward to seeing who will fulfill this position. And I love Troy University so much. I'm actually a third-generation Troy student, and I just look forward to seeing how I can serve this community and serve this campus. Thank you.
Thank you, Brantley. Kenesha Mahan is a junior social science leadership concentration major from Pell City. Kenesha, you have 1 minute to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Brantley. Hi, everyone. I am Kenesha Mahan, as he said, from Pell City, Alabama, and I would be very honored to have your vote. If elected in this position, I have made sure that there is equal representation for minority students on campus. I believe there is always room to improve, and if given this opportunity, I would be very pleased to have your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenesha. And Miller Pickle is a junior biomedical sciences major from Colquitt, Georgia. Miller, you have 1 minute to introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, my name is Miller Pickle. I'm a junior from Colquitt, Georgia. I'm a biomedical sciences major, and I'm a brother of Farmhouse Fraternity here on campus. During my time here at Troy, I've been able to serve as Sergeant at Arms with Farmhouse, helping with management of meetings and keeping order and things such as that. I've also been on the Traffic Bills Committee here for about a year now, the past 2 semesters, helping with ticket appeals, and I've also been on the Judicial Board Oversight Committee, which has just been established in the past semester or so, and we look at amendments that have been made in SGA meetings, and we make sure that they fit what we're trying to do here on campus. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Miller. Now I have questions for each of you that you will answer in the reverse order in which you introduced yourself, starting with Miller Pickle. Your question: how would you go about improving the selection of the homecoming court and queen?
Well, the problem this past time that I saw was the process wasn't very, people were confused while running for the positions as to what the rules were and such, as to where we had to have a hearing about it on campus. And I would make sure that people understand the rules very thoroughly before they run, and when they do run, that we keep them involved and we keep them in the loop and make sure that they understand the rules throughout the process. Because we don't want miscommunication, because miscommunication leads to problems within and outside of all those things, and complaints get filed and such things like that. And we want to avoid those at all costs and make things run smoothly, as smoothly as possible, because we like to keep things in order here on Troy's campus. Thank you.
Thank you, Miller. Now, Kenesha, your answer to that same question: how would you go about improving the selection of homecoming court and queen?
Yes, of course. I believe it is first most important to listen to the concerns of the student body, in which I have been given the opportunity to do, whether it's being in class or just being involved in different on-campus organizations. I will listen to the concerns that we've had from previous homecoming queen and court committee selection processes and apply those to the future prospects. I also believe that it's very important that we have equal and adequate representation when we are selecting the homecoming queen candidates as well as the homecoming court candidates. I believe that just a few implementations of these protocols would advance and better the opportunities for people who want to be on the homecoming court and queen selection process.
Thank you, Kenesha. Next, Brantley Lawrence, how would you go about improving the selection of the homecoming court and queen?
As Vice President of Internal Affairs, elections are very important, and homecoming especially, because it is a reminder of a person who loves Troy and is devoted to Troy's campus. So for these elections, I would strive to have everyone understand and to know the homecoming candidates, because I felt myself, I didn't really get to know them, and I didn't understand what they were running for and who they were. So that's something I would strive to in this position, is to introduce the campus to these candidates and have them show why they should win and why they're running and why they love Troy's campus. And I also understand that this process of the elections has changed multiple times over the last few years. So I would strive to find a process and find a way that can keep around and that can stay constant, because changing the rules every year just confuses people and it doesn't allow them to effectively campaign and run for this position.
Now, Adlin Hanlon, tell our audience how you would go about improving the selection of homecoming court and queen.
Thank you. One of the things that I think is most important on this campus is organization and our student government. I feel that in order to have a well-run campus, we have to have a well-run and organized student government, and also our elections need to be more organized and well-run in order for things to be done effectively. I believe that this year the process felt a little rushed. We were still kind of nailing down some of the rules in our homecoming process, coming up on the weeks where people were going to begin entering and campaigning, and I feel that that shouldn't be the way things are done. There were also a lot of concerns about ways that we can improve the process in order to include a more diverse group of individuals, and I feel that maybe one of the ways that this could be done is by focusing more on the interview process and less on just the resumes themselves. I just believe that it's important to have more organization and a more diverse group of individuals. Thank you.
And finally, Wesley Bagwell, tell us how you would go about improving the selection of homecoming court and queen.
Thank you, Brady. First, how I would do it, the process has changed every year for 6 to 7 years straight. So the first thing to do is not only change the process, but fix it finally. I want to bring everyone together, from minorities especially, independents, fraternities, and sororities. Everyone should be invited to the table to make a more lasting process, one that would hopefully be able to last until next year. And I would hope that, yes, I want to make sure that everyone has a voice in homecoming. Thank you, Brady.
Thank you, Wesley. Now your question drawn before our program began is: the issue of voting in our national elections this year was controversial in many ways. Looking at this topic, availability to the ballot, how can Troy SGA do better?
Yes, so when you're talking about availability to the ballot, let's talk about the email and going to the SGA office, because those are the main areas where Troy students get to vote. How I would do it as VPIA, I would focus on getting the accessibility out there. I would hope that a lot of students will be able to know the process and be able to know when to vote. I want to make sure it's out there well in advance, when students will know when to vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Wesley. And now, Adlin, you have 1 minute to answer the following question you drew before the beginning of our program, and that question is: because of COVID and office renovations, SGA this past year was not operated in the same way it normally was. How would you help SGA get back on track to hopeful normal operations?
Thank you. I'm really excited that this upcoming semester things are starting to look like they'll be more normal. I believe that SGA has overall done a pretty great job of progressing throughout this difficult time. I feel like getting the office renovated, which it's now been renovated and is now open, is a really big thing because that gives people an opportunity to work in their office spaces and also just gives senators a place to hang out and kind of get to know each other. And I feel like if more of the senators are more acquainted with each other, things will be better and more well run during SGA meetings themselves. I also feel like it's exciting that we're going to be able to be doing more events and things that we weren't being able to do before. And I feel like that'll give a lot of people more of an idea of all of the things that SGA does and is continuing to do, and also getting more people involved because they're seeing the awesome things that are going on in SGA. So I'm pretty excited for this next semester, and I think that SGA is going to do some awesome things.
Thank you, Adlin. Next, Brantley Lawrence. You have 1 minute to answer the following question that you drew before our newscast. This position handles student elections. How do you feel SGA does a good job in advertising open SGA Senate positions, and what ways could you advertise open SGA Senate positions better?
Thank you for that question. I agree that a lot of organizations and a lot of people do not know about the positions open to them, and leadership positions especially, because I want to open those for people and I want people to be encouraged to run for those. One thing I'm striving right now to do before I even earn this position or even are offered this position is to reach out to those different minority groups and different groups to promote diversity and to promote diverse organizations. I think that as SGA, as a student government association, it should be made up of the student body, and if it's not representing every group and not representing every group equally, then it's not doing its job very well. And so that's something that I'm striving to do right now, is to reach out to the different organizations, reach out to their leaders, be encouragements for them to run for these positions, and be the person there to help them earn these positions and to help them campaign well. So that's something I would strive to do if I was given this opportunity and elected your VPA.
Thank you, Brantley. And now, Kenesha, you have 1 minute to answer the following question you drew before the beginning of our program, and that question is: how open would you be to hosting a series of SGA debates during executive office campaign periods rather than just one televised debate? Why or why not?
Thank you for that question. First and foremost, I believe it is very important that the Student Government Association remains transparent with the student body. Of course, we are students first, and therefore that should be our utmost importance and transparency. Going forward, I believe that it will be very important that we allow to have debates and different conversational time periods for regular students on campus, whether they're independent or involved in Greek organizations on campus. Fostering conversation and hearing the changes that need to be implemented across our campus are a way to make Troy University even better than it is now. So first and foremost, I would be welcomed and encourage the debates in different conversations, whether challenging or controversial, to just make sure that everyone has a voice and the opportunity to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Miller, you have 1 minute to answer the question you drew before the beginning of our program, and that question is: do you think hosting open candidate forums for Senate elections would encourage greater student participation in Senate elections? Why or why not?
I believe that would, of course, because, I mean, once you do things like that, pretty much everyone knows and is aware of things that are going on, which is a problem that Troy has sometimes. Is these positions are made available and known to Greek organizations and organizations in general for the most part, but then they're with independent students, I've noticed over the years that are my friends and such, they usually don't know what's going on. They're kind of lost in the whole process of it and what goes into it, and you have to explain to them, you know, sometimes what's going on. And with the things like that, if you have forums, everyone is made aware of what's going on and nobody's left behind, which is one of the most important things that we need to do as an SGA, is just make sure that everyone's in the fold, like everyone has said before me. You have to make sure that everyone's involved, because a student government association isn't a student government association unless every student is represented fairly and equally. Thank you.
Thank you, Miller. And those are your candidates for SGA Vice President of Internal Affairs.